Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and congratulations on your role. And I would also like to congratulate the Right Honourable Member for East Thanet, with whom we have worked before we both came to this chamber, through UK 100 and others, on local climate action, much of what I will speak to today. I would also like to congratulate the Minister and the Secretary of State for Energy Security and Net Zero. It means a great deal to me to make my maiden speech during a debate in which the new government is setting out green energy policies and plans to get us back on track with our climate pledges here at home, so that we can once again contribute on the international stage towards collective global action. Closer to home, government research shows that local climate action would achieve net zero for half the cost of the national approach and deliver 3 times the financial returns. But we need a clear framework between the national and the local, and how councils fit into the national plan for net zero, including community energy initiatives. But first, Madam Speaker, let me say how proud and humbled I am by the faith the residents of beautiful South Cambridgeshire have put in me. They wanted change, and this was a truly historic result. The Liberal Democrats won all 3 Cambridgeshire seats, turning them from blue to yellow for the first time, forming a golden ring around the constituency of the Right Honourable Member for Cambridge, who now sits on the government benches, and whom I'd like to congratulate on his appointment as Minister for Farming. Yes, a gold ring, or rather, a golden donut with red jam in the middle. And it is thanks to family, friends and activists, many up here with me, that this happened. Madam Deputy Speaker, I'm a lass from Hull, whose dad was a GP and mum a nurse. And from an early age, I accompanied my dad on his home visits to patients, and it was those roots in the NHS that fostered a deep sense of community service, as well as an insight into the inequality, child poverty and poor health outcome links. And that's why I'm proud that the Liberal Democrats put the NHS and social care at the forefront of our campaign. After years of Conservative chaos and neglect left the NHS on its knees. I will continue to campaign to get fairer funding for our GPs in Cambridgeshire, because the unfair funding formula in Cambridgeshire is leaving GPs struggling to keep their heads above water. Inequality was a cruel determinant in the COVID pandemic and led to many avoidable deaths. South Cambridgeshire helped avoid more, Madam Deputy Speaker. It was here that the quick deciphering of the COVID virus's genetic code allowed for the vaccines to be developed straight away, partly explaining why they were available in record time. And the researchers then continued detecting the variants as they emerged. Truly life-saving. And that's part of the reason why semi-rural South Cambridgeshire is fast changing. Now home to world-leading innovation with Europe's largest biomedical centre, the welcome Genome Campus and others, as well as over 8,000 startups and businesses, most of which are SMEs. Our world-leading tech and life science sectors are one of the biggest contributors to our country's economy, and I invite the government to recognise this. It's the goose that lays the golden egg, which is why its future needs to be shaped carefully with and through the local authorities, giving local people a voice, tackling affordable housing, the water supply, transport, grid infrastructure gaps, in a way that allows communities, businesses and nature to thrive. And this is where I'd like to pay my respects to my predecessors, Anthony Brown, who worked hard to raise these issues. He supported the calls on government to tackle the water crisis, and I look forward to continuing his work supporting the campaigns for the new cancer and children's hospitals too. But I'd also like to pay tribute to his predecessor, Heidi Allen, who is still remembered fondly by many residents. Sadly, Heidi stood down from politics as a result of the abuse that many MPs, mainly female women, face. In her words, "Of course public scrutiny is to be expected, but lines are too often regularly crossed, and the effect is utterly dehumanising." Heidi had become an MP to stand up for the vulnerable and for those who have no voice. Now more than ever, I want to continue their work, helping ensure there's a positive and inclusive vision for all in South Cambridgeshire, where no one is left behind. It's distressing that 15% of children in my constituency are living in poverty, with increasing numbers dependent on food banks and free school meals, isolated in villages with no public transport. And this inclusive vision must include our unique and precious chalk streams that connect us, our blue veins, the silvery threads weaving together our villages, the Granta twinkling through Stapleford, Linton and Bolsham, the River Shep starting in Foulmere Nature Reserve, flowing through Shepworth and Barrington villages, the River Ree through Haslingfield and Harston, the Mel that rises in Melbourne and flows through Meldreth, the Fulbourn and Wilbraham chalk streams. Residents are rightly outraged at the dumping of raw sewage in these streams and rivers, and I urge the government to get tougher with the water companies, and I will champion, together with them, to breathe new life into the Chalk Streams Protections Bill, please. Madam Deputy Speaker, I've worked professionally for many years with governments around the world to integrate climate and nature into growth plans, mediating agreements where benefits can flow to local communities. What motivates me most is how young people see their future. A recent study on young people found that too many had climate anxiety. Their most used words were fear, anger, frustration, and worry. And there were two main reasons why they felt this way. One, they didn't think that decision makers listened to them. Two, that decision makers didn't care or take the right decisions for their future. I've met many young people in South Cambridgeshire who feel this way, and they want action on the twin climate and nature emergencies. I speak to them now, Madam Deputy Speaker. I want what we do in this chamber to restore your faith, give you agency, so that together we can be the change that we want. Thank you.